Good morning. So this is my informative presentation presenting options with the topic of how to come off effective during a job interview. As per my discussion, I did mention that I am a business owner, so I do have a little bit of background in the hiring process. As part of our assignment, we do have to discuss relevancy between the 5 stages of listening and barriers to the listening effect. So I would like to first provide my quick opinion about why it is important to come off effective during a job interview and how we're not really successfully doing it. The discussion basically explained that one, before effective listening, I would pick a good resume. But with all the technological advances, the ability to hire someone to write your resume, apps, online resources, your resume can look amazing or you can look similar to everybody else out of 20 applicants. But the moment that you step into the actual interview, you're not effective during the interview when it even comes down for you to take a turn and just read out what your resume says. I do think that it has to do with the technology barriers that a lot of this generation does have as an ability. Like I mentioned, even your resume is written out for you nowadays. But since a lot of people spend so much time on technology, it's now removing that part of effective communication between people, that face-to-face interaction. That technology barrier, like I mentioned, goes hand in hand with the age or generational barrier. So what I probably had to go through during an interview is completely different to what my daughter might have to go through during an interview. And like I mentioned, the technology advances or means of communication platforms available for me to basically stream or look at all day were not as accessible or basically weren't at all nowadays. I had to go through newspaper articles, flyers, word of mouth of different job positions, and where she can basically look up a job with a simple click. And that's something that a lot of these applicants need to learn about once they step into the interview process, if they're going to be going through the interview with someone that is not of their generation. Are those things important? Are they core values? Because I personally really do care about how you found out about the job. If you're going to tell me that this is your first job, you've never been in the workforce, I want to know, did someone tell you about it? Did you look it up? And how easy was it to find the information? And what were you really trying to, how hard were you really trying to get the job? Did you apply online? Did you just kind of walk in? It all really ties hand to hand. And the moment we actually meet face to face, the way you effectively communicate that information to me will probably make it or break it for you during your interview. And at that point, a lot of this generation gets nervous because they don't have much to offer as far as communication. As far as the 5 stages of listening, I do think that they really have to pay attention to what the employer is asking of during the interview. I might ask you, how did you find the post, or how did you find the actual job position? But I'm actually asking, like, did you really try to find it, or did your mom tell you? So as far as the listening, interpreting or evaluating the message or the question that the actual business owner is asking you is key. And it's really your job to sit there and listen and not only respond physically like the book tells us that we should be doing, but evaluate what you're gonna respond with. And body language is key, I believe, as well. You can't really come off as uninterested, but you can't also just stand there and stare straight at them. So the 5 stages of listening that they provide for us prior to answering a verbal communicative answer are really, really important when it comes down to coming off as effective interview. And I do think that that is possibly a way to keep off or keep off the barriers to the effective listening part that I think are important in the effective listening during the interview. So it'll keep you away from the generational problem and also the technological barrier. So just good luck to all those new interviewers out there, and use your effective listening skills, especially if you're new to the workforce. Just listen to what they're asking you for. Thank you.